So I'm going to shift gears just a tiny little bit with you guys. You hear me talk a lot about the real estate industry, talk a lot about investment properties, being an investor, all of that stuff. But I'm going to spend a little bit of time, I'm going to do a few videos on this because I think this can be helpful to the public in general, but certainly small and medium-sized business owners about business brokerage, about selling a business. And I'm going to talk on one of those topics here today with you. Today, what I want to talk about is what's my business worth? What is my business worth? Or how do I value my business? Or maybe who values my business? Let's go there with this for a moment. Let's talk a little bit about who values my business. And here's the thing, guys. Commercial brokers, really anybody with a real estate license in many states can sell a business asset. Now, most of the time in our industry, meaning real estate folks, investment real estate people who are selling businesses, we typically will sell small to medium-sized businesses. When you start getting into the larger businesses, it's a different game, okay? These are the M&A, mergers and acquisitions. It's a different game. And so I'm not going to go into that space now because what we're typically dealing with is, it might be businesses up to $5 million or somewhere in that range, give or take. It really doesn't make any difference getting right down to it. But we're not talking about $100 million businesses here. We've sold lots of, hotels and bars and restaurants and hair salons and accounting firms and all these different types of businesses over the years. But the first step when the phone rings and says, Mark, can you help my neighbor? I've got this business I want to sell. And many times it is small businesses like, I've got this dog grooming business. I've been doing it for 30 years. I want to retire. I'm ready to sell it. But Mark, I have no clue what it's worth. How do you start with just knowing what your business is worth? Who's going to do this for you? So I just told you a couple minutes ago that a licensed real estate professional is legally able to transact a business asset sale. But what's really kind of interesting that I found out a long time ago? Us licensed professionals, we all have errors and omissions policies, E&O, as those of us in the industry and you watching, you're probably maybe in the industry in some way. Errors and omissions, but errors and omissions often does not cover a licensed real estate investment professional to go value a business asset. Now, I'm not speaking about your E&O policy. You go check that out with your own insurer or risk manager, and you can find that out. But many people in my business don't know that. So to go and throw around a value of a business to go sell a business is very risky. It's very risky. So when a small business person comes to me and they go, Mark, how do you value a business? And I might give them some tips, but I'll typically say, I have to be very careful here. So I'm going to probably err on the side of being conservative and saying, you may want to talk with a business appraiser. You may want to talk with your banker or your CPA or your attorney. Talk to your banker and talk to your CPA and let them run their own underwriting scenario, or let them do a factor against your net operating income to start to come up with your value. Now, this is important stuff because in business brokerage, it's called exit planning. It's exit planning. It's many people my age, and they've been in business for a really long time, and they're starting to say, I don't know if I want to keep doing this forever. What's my business worth? And that's when they need to start thinking about that business appraisal. That's really what rules here. I'll tell almost everybody, spend the money if you have a viable business. Now, here's an easy one for you. If I ask the question to the small business owner, are you profitable? And they say, well, I said, are you reporting a profit to the IRS? Yes or no? Is there something on that bottom line? Yes or no? Yeah, the last couple of years haven't been so good. We might as well just stop the discussion right now. Okay? Because if there's no net operating income, if there's no profit in the business, what we call that is a labor of love. That's a labor of love. It might be feeding you or maybe feeding your family, but there isn't anything coming to the bottom line that would support paying a loan for somebody buying your business. You can't underwrite to zero. You can, but it's going to come back as zero, right? The same old, what is 100 times zero? That's a pretty easy one for all of us. And the same thing applies here. So sometimes when small business people say, Mark, I've been running a net loss over these past few years of minus 7,000, minus 70,000. Maybe I'm running a profit of 15,000 or 50,000. And many times they're running so skinny that it is more of a labor of love and that business asset may not have a lot of value. But talk to the CPA, talk to your banker. And the reason I say banker, guys, this is really important because where do you go to go get a loan for your business when you want to go buy it? You go to a commercial loan officer at a bank and you say, bank, can you get me a loan for this business? I want to buy this business. I want to buy the business with the real estate or I'm going to take over their lease. And what does the banker say? Well, I need to see their financials. I need to see their P&L and balance sheet. I'll take a look at your own financials as well. What do you have for money and what's your credit and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. That's why any good loan officer, like any good broker, can look at a P&L or balance sheet and start to make a determination if we have an asset that we can underwrite to or not. So listen, I touched on a few different pieces on business brokerage. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this because this is a super important topic for like millions of small businesses across the country. And many times you can't get good straight answers on this. So this is kind of the very beginning of a few videos on business brokerage. I hope this was helpful. It's a good starting point. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel, Results in Real Estate. If you need anything from me, we are resultscommercial.com and I am Mark at resultscommercial.com. Glad you're with me today. Thank you.